If your skin feels dry during winter, this is the makeup routine I swear by. Simple, glowy, and deeply hydrating. I'm starting with freshly cleansed skin and spraying a generous amount of thermal water. This step is always in my routine, no matter the season. It calms the skin, adds hydration, and preps everything beautifully. I gently tap it into the skin before moving on. For the eye area, I'm currently obsessed with this eye contour lifting cream from Calesim. It has a lightweight, gel-like texture that feels incredibly hydrating without being heavy. It leaves the under eye area soft, smooth, and luminous. This cream contains collagen-activating exosomes. Basically, exosomes are tiny messengers that signal your skin cells to behave younger. Instead of adding collagen on top of the skin, they encourage the skin to produce more of its own collagen. The goal here is to strengthen thin, crepey under eye skin and help it look firmer and smoother over time. During winter, my skin feels tight almost all the time, so I really need a deeply hydrating face cream. Lately, I've been using the Restorative Hydration Cream, also from Calesim. This is one of those creams that impresses you from the very first use. The texture is unlike anything I've tried before. I apply one pump, which is more enough to cover the face and neck. It's intensely hydrating but still lightweight. Leaves the skin plumped, soft, firm and elastic, without feeling greasy at all. It gives a beautiful natural radiance and works amazingly well as a makeup base. During winter, I hydrate my lips constantly because otherwise they got extremely dry and cracked. Before makeup, I always apply something deeply nourishing, and I really love the Laneige Lip Sleeping Mask. This is a step I highly recommend before applying foundation, because if your lips are dry, foundation can make them look even drier. For foundation, I'm using Dior Forever Skin Glow. This is a foundation I can only wear during winter on my combination to oily skin because it's very glowy and doesn't fully set. I shake it well and apply 2 pumps. I'm using shade 0N, a neutral shade suitable for fair skin tones. For everyday makeup, I prefer using a larger, denser brush for applying foundation because it's faster and gives a more natural finish. One of the best techniques for a natural looking foundation is not dotting it directly on the face, but first blending it on the back of your hand, then applying it to the skin. I start by stretching the product out, and if I need more coverage, I go in with tapping motions. This foundation is very elastic, easy to spread, has light to medium coverage, and looks incredibly natural on the skin. It stays glowy, doesn't fully set, and remains slightly sticky, which doesn't bother me at all in winter. It's suitable for normal, dry, and combination skin, but definitely not for oily skin. With whatever is left on the brush, I lightly swipe along the jawline, then tap the area with a tissue to remove excess product so it doesn't transfer onto my sweater. If you notice uneven areas around the nose after applying foundation with the brush, just blend with your finger to remove brush marks and make everything seamless. Now for bronzer. This Charlotte Tilbury Cream Bronzer is quite thick and very pigmented. So I want to share with you a trick that makes it much easier to work with and more beginner friendly. Lately, I've been mixing it with 1 pump of the Viv Skin Nova Primer. This primer has a gel-like shimmery texture. When mixed together, the bronzer turns into a lightweight balm that blends beautifully and looks much more natural on the skin. Plus, the primer adds a lovely subtle glow and a very pleasant scent. I pick up the product from the back of my hand using a precise synthetic brush. This is a warm natural bronzer, so I don't apply it under the cheekbone, where the natural shadow is. Instead, I apply it slightly higher on the cheek to add warmth and freshness. I start close to the hairline and use tapping motions, stopping where the eye begins. I also apply it around the perimeter of the forehead, slightly on the nose, and in the outer corners of the eyes, towards the temples to create a lifted and elongated effect. I softly blend it into the crease, then use my finger to melt the edges into the skin for a seamless finish. Now for the cold, peached cheek look, I'm using the Sashi Cheek Stay In Blush in shade 01 I'm Cute. This is the perfect soft pink for fair skin tones. I've been loving the texture and formula so much. I smile slightly to lift the cheeks and apply it starting where the eye begins, blending towards the ear for a lifted effect. For everyday makeup, bronzer and blush are often all you need, so I also apply a little on the outer corners of the eyes for extra freshness. I clean my bronzer brush on a tissue and use the same brush for blush, because let's be honest, for everyday makeup, who has time to switch 5 brushes? This blush looks very pigmented at first, but it blends effortlessly with a brush, fingers or a sponge. It has a thin texture, a natural radiant finish, isn't sticky, and lasts all day without drying the skin. If you apply too much, don't worry, it blends out beautifully. I always blend the edges with my finger to avoid harsh lines. Whatever is left on the brush, I lightly tap onto the tip of the nose. If you apply too much blush near the mouth, you just take your foundation brush and soften the area. At this point, I really need concealer to brighten the under eye area and the center of the face. My face is quite small, and when I contour, the center can look even smaller, so this step is important. I've tried this concealer from Hourglass in many ways, and honestly, we don't fully get along, but since it's expensive, I didn't want to waste it, so I found a way to make it work. I only use it during winter and without powder. It has good coverage and a matte finish. When you apply it evenly, it initially looks nice, but if you overblend it, wait too long, or try to set it with powder, it lifts, separates, and emphasizes texture. The only way it works for me is this. I apply it, let it sit for about 1 minute, then stretch it and blend it quickly. After that, I don't touch it at all. It looks okay this way, but not perfect. But after a few hours, it still tends to dry, to crease, and separate, even with very hydrated skin. I've also tested it on models, and it's not a product I fully trust. Let me know in the comments, guys. Do you like this concealer or do you have the same experience? I apply concealer where I need brightness and also along the sides of the nose to reduce shadows and make the face look more awake. Next are the brows. Before applying any product, I brush them upwards with a spoolie to remove any foundation or cream products. If you're brunette, a great shade is the L'Oreal Infallible 24-Hour Micro Brow Pencil in Brunette. This and the NYX Micro Brow Pencil are my favorite affordable brow pencils. I start by lightly defining the base of the brow and slightly elongating the tail. At the front, I use very light hair-like strokes. Never draw a harsh square. I follow the natural shape on top, then blend everything with the spoolie. Brows make such a difference. They frame the eyes and balance the face. I don't always use brow gel for everyday makeup, and today I'm skipping it. For eyeshadow, don't be scared. This is the most natural liquid eyeshadow I've ever tried. It's the Sacha Stay In eyeshadow in shade 01 Candy Dipped. It's a very subtle champagne shimmer that gives a frosty lids effect. The texture is thin and gel-like, with very fine pearlescent particles. The camera doesn't fully catch it, so I'll also insert a phone clip so you can see it better. Before applying it, I make sure any creasing from cream products is blended out. I prefer applying this with my finger. I tap a small amount on the center of the lid and also in the inner corner to brighten the eyes. You need to wait 1-2 minutes for it to fully dry. It's buildable, but always let the first layer set before adding more. There's no texture, just a beautiful glow. I also love using it as a highlighter on the high points of the cheeks for a frosty effect. I always curl my lashes before mascara, never after. For winter, especially when I wear makeup without powder, I use a mascara that doesn't smudge. This one from Sweet Beauty is very long lasting and stay put. For the lips, lately I've been really into the Sacha lip liner Stay In, when I want a super long lasting lip contour. Here I'm using the shade 04 Hazel, which is a beautiful golden brown. Before using it, you really need to hydrate your lips very well. If you have dry or cracked lips, you can say goodbye to an even result. These liners do tend to dry out the lips, so I don't recommend reapplying them more than once a day. I also don't like applying it all over the lips. I keep it only on the contour, because the color never looks even in the center. The skin there is much thinner and more sensitive. I start with the lower lip and apply a thick layer. I don't like a very sharp, precise contour, so I slightly blend it inward to make it look smoother. You have to do this immediately after applying it, because it dries very fast. Then I contour the cupid's bow and slightly overline for fuller looking lips. I let it dry for about 5 to 10 minutes. I never wait for the full 15 minutes. For me, that's more than enough. While I wait, I remove any mascara traces, and I also like applying a bit of shimmering eyeshadow at the base of the lashes. Before gently peeling it off, it really helps to do a few kissing lip movements. As you can see, it's very easy to remove. And yes, you know what happened here, guys? My camera didn't record when I peeled off the liner the first time, so I had to apply it again to show you the process. As you can see, the lower lip looks more intense and drier, and this is exactly why I don't recommend applying it in layers. It's much better to apply one thick layer only. That's how you get the most even contour. And here I tried everything to tone down the intensity on the lower lip. Lip balm, oil remover, nothing worked. It's extremely long lasting. In the end, the only thing that worked was going over it with a lip liner in a similar shade. So I used NYX lip pencil in Nutmeg. So overall, my opinion on the Sacha lip liner stain is that it's really nice and very long lasting if you apply it the right way. Just be aware of these mistakes, because they can easily compromise the final result. I like to combine this lip liner with a lip balm or a lip gloss. Here I've used my favorite Queen Mousse Hydra Balm. And to finish everything, I spray my face with my favorite Charlotte Tilbury setting spray. It locks everything in, adds radiance, and makes the skin look even more plump. When you don't use powder, it's normal for concealer to crease. Just blend it with a brush, or just tap it back into place with your finger. And this is the final look, guys. No powder, super hydrating, plump and glowy. I absolutely love to wear this kind of makeup during winter, especially when my skin feels tight with matte products. Even though it looks very dewy on camera because of the lighting, in real life it looks fresh and natural, not greasy. It's not the most long-lasting makeup, but it stays comfortable and hydrated all day. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know in the comments if this tutorial was helpful, and don't forget to like and subscribe. See you next time, bye bye!